Oh, yo!
Oh, this is how we do it.
Are you on?
I won.
How's it going,
Hi.
man? How's your day been, dude?
All good, all good. How is yours?
Good, man. Good. I did some uni work in the morning. Got on a group meeting, and now I'm going to have a lovely chat with yourself, dude. So I'm glad you made the time. Thank you so much for saying yes.
No problem.
But let's get it started, man. I'm excited for this chat. Like everyone, this is Lakshan. He is he's a youth ambassador. He's a founder of Be the Change Federation. But also, what's very interesting is that you've written a book which is called The Best Thing Ever back in
Yes.
2016, which is awesome. Man, you've
Yeah.
been a busy man, and you've been advocating for different things as well. Tell us all about you, man. Who is Lakshan?
Who is Lakshan is something that I myself still don't know. You see? It's just that I like to wander on new avenues, sort of things, you know? So that's how you learn in the process, yeah? So, yeah, but book writing skills. Okay, so that's like in 2016. Oh, yeah, 16. But before 16, I had to like struggle for almost a year and a half, I think, more than that, to even get published. So it was a good ride, to be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. And what was the motivation to write the book, dude? What is it all about?
So the book is basically for children because it's my very first book. It's for children and young adults. You know how even Harry Potter is able to be read by even old folks. So it's just a very general book. So it's mainly covering towards like adventure and like sci-fi. So, but I'm still a huge reader. I'm still a huge reader, whether is it fictions or novels or even political now. But everything, I'm just reading a lot. So I just thought to myself one day maybe I could write a book myself. And then my best friend, when I was in school, actually I started writing like short stories to poems. And then my best friend, and he was like saying, yeah, just go for it. Like there's no harm in writing a book. So good luck with the publication because that's the difficult part. But so I wrote and wrote. Actually, this book which got published is actually my third book which I wrote. It was a third manuscript that was accepted. So I'm not the kind of person once discarded for me to get back to it. So
Yeah,
I'm just waiting for more improvements and writing a new one out there.
amazing, dude. That's awesome. That's something that I'm trying to get into, man. I feel like a lot of people who are open-minded thinkers, who are critical thinkers, and who are a lot of intellectuals in the world read a lot of books. And that's
Yeah.
something that I'm trying to get into this year, but it's such a struggle, man. It's such a struggle to get myself to read. But I'm getting there. I'm getting there slowly, especially now this live show has like consumed my life pretty much. So I haven't really had the time to like sit down. Any tips for people who want to like start reading?
First, I want to know is, are you the kind of person who would fall asleep when you open a book?
I'm the type of person who can't focus on the words.
Ah, okay.
So
Okay.
like for me, I'm a much more audible learner. So I learn in person by listening,
Yeah.
or I listen to podcasts, right? So that's how I
Ah,
learn, and that's how I absorb information. Because I'm quite the a person who can talk like this,
okay.
intellectual discussions or listening to intellectual people talk.
Yeah.
But when it comes to reading, I can't focus on the words. I start like blurring out and getting very distracted. So like
Okay.
any tips when it comes to that?
So tips is just to keep practice. That's all I
Yeah.
can. You know, it starts with an ambition. You know, it starts if you really want to do it. So if you're seeing such stuff like if you're like not into it, I think that's why maybe you're not you don't want to read basically, like because you're the kind of person who would like hear and listen and learn that way. So I'm the kind of person more than hearing, I like to read because it gives me my own private time for me to learn and read on my own, so I can go in my own pace. You see,
Yeah.
so but the tips that I would say is just to keep reading because that's something which I always say even to my own family who doesn't like to read much. So just keep reading, even newspapers, because for me, it's a personal point of view. Since I was very young, my grandmother always gave me even a piece of newspaper or even a magazine. You know those kids magazines which come with the newspapers. It's very it's like it gives about nature. It's sort of like encyclopedias which comes in it.
Yep.
So
Yep.
my grandmother always would shove it in front of my face, like read it, you know. And the worst thing is, she would say, read it out loud. So that,
Oh, right.
yeah. So that's how I kind of grew into the point and passion for me to read. Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing, man. Yeah, I think I'm gonna try and read out loud, to be very honest. That might try and help me like stay focused. I think your grandmother was onto something. I think she was really onto something.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Other than that, dude, like you seem to be a very busy man when it comes to making or being a part of change making related avenues, but also in the political sphere as well. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
So firstly, I like to see the main thing that I'm really trying to change is to get back the youth into politics, because the youth are in politics. Youth are very scarce because even recently, even for the local governments, which is the lowest point where you could contest in, the local government also they had a quota for the youth, but sadly they had discarded the youth quota because of how they just want their own family members to come in and their own senior levels to repeat themselves. So I like to sort of like engrave and to like start to like build another sort of like an empire, you could say, but that's more of a capitalism and very radical sort of a tense. But I like that word because because you need a lot of youth, because it takes a village to actually change. So
Yep.
I like to be the change. So then that way you can sort of lead this whole agenda that we're trying to create. You see. So that's why I'm just trying to put my hand into a lot of stuff. So then I can show people, look, I have done this for my age, and you too could do it. So but of course some people are after the money and some people are after the wealth and all of that, you see. So it all goes down to your inner motives on how and what you want to be and do for the nation itself. So that's why I just keep doing what I'm doing.
Amazing, man. And like there's a discussion that I always talk with a lot of the guests that I've spoken to so far, like about like how there's so many change makers in Sri Lanka, right? People who are not in the news, there are people in the kids and village leaders and people like that who are really trying to help their community and really putting the step like a foot forward to make a change. And there's people within the main districts that are also trying their best to like make a change in different aspects, right? It could be like equality, it could be when it comes to domestic abuse or LGBTQIA plus rights or whatever, right? There's so many other avenues, but it's like the change makers are here and the policy makers are here, and there's like a lot of loopholes and gaps in between all of these things. And
Yeah.
how and change makers are basically coming together. I'm using the change maker term very loosely, but the change makers are coming together to try and at least do what they possibly can to help the community move forward, because
Mhm.
there's a lot of loopholes in policies and all those things. I don't want this to be a political discussions, but I just want to be like an intellectual opinionated discussion.
True.
So when
Yeah.
it comes to like the that gap, what are some of the things that we can do to like match that gap and try and meet somewhere in the middle where we can still keep Sri Lanka pushing forward and innovating?
I might have to just say to pursue and to push through, because play dirty to get somewhere higher, you see. So there's going to be a lot of shoving down when, like you said, the policy makers and the youth change makers, there's going to be a lot of pressurizing for the youth to when you're rising up. So but there's also ways on how you can actually go through those pressures. So
Like
that's where,
navigate.
yeah, navigate yourself through. So that's like to building your community and then getting the right resources to yourself, like being able to make a call and like stay connected with those people who are actually linking all those peoples. So that way you too can make an impact to the policy, because I don't want to pinpoint myself because I haven't done a drastic change for the policy making level, but I have some sort of a connections with the policymakers themselves. So, but like you said, there are a lot of people out there in the communities in certain levels who are finding it difficult to use. Some people don't even have the social media platform, but they're still making change. They are not on
Yep.
news channels. They are not being put into publicity. So, like that. But the best thing is, the advice that I have to say for them is to keep pursuing what you are doing, because eventually you will be noticed. That is for sure, because over these few days, even during this COVID-19 outbreak, there's a lot of links which I actually found out when I'm working in the levels. You see, there's a lot of connections because through social media. So for the
Yep.
people who don't have social media, I guess you could still work for the community level and still strive and make a change, because when you're in the community level, you still could make a change. So, but so
Absolutely.
my take for that is to keep pursuing it, because if you really want to get to that point, there's nothing stopping you.
Absolutely, man. And let's talk about perseverance for a second. Like, obviously, you would have gone through your own obstacles in your own life, right? And you're fighting to make a difference, to bring youth in as well. Have there ever been moments in your personal life where you're just like, ah, this is way too much. Like, this game is way too tough. Like, I cannot keep playing this game. Have you, like, how do you deal with those thoughts in your head and how do you push on?
All the time, because even back then when I was writing my book, okay, so that's a very simple thing, writing a book, okay, so it's just typing down a few stuff which is in your head. And even when I was in the process of writing, people told me, even my family told me, you will not make a living out of writing, so to not to pursue that. You see, so there was a lot of backlashes even during that. So even when I'm in politics and all of everything else, even I'm in my own NGO which I'm running, so all of it, the whole biggest thing is people are like, he's like a small fellow, like how Sri Lanka they say upodi ekek, so they're like say like he's still kid, like he will not understand the gravity of it and how to do it and all of that. But I think I have actually been able to pursue that even by myself, and also it's all about having the right people around you. I like to keep saying the word empire because that's a very, very radical word, you see, because I like the whole word, because without your own community, you can never be able to strive to where you are doing, you see. So even when since we're talking
Absolutely.
about it's important to have the right people around you who will motivate you, saying, hey, go for it, give it a try. Even those simple text messages is very valuable for people, you see. So
Yeah.
backlashes is obviously, I think that happens globally, but mainly in Sri Lanka, I guess. I don't want to pinpoint our own country, but it's something which happens. So, but persevering is something which I think everyone should uh, go through, but also something to be strong of without being neglected or thinking negatively. Oh no, he doesn't like it, I will not go through it. You see, so it's best if we
Yeah.
don't like put into that negativity, but to like push through when you really want to do it. So that's why a
Absolutely,
lot,
man.
because that's why like when you do a whole bunch of stuff, like for example, writing, building an NGO, getting into politics, doing business and all of that, in the end of the day, the $1 million question for these people is how old are you? You see, so I love when they come to that point where like how old you are, because that's where it leaves their jaw open, because it's like, oh no, we've been like bossed out by a young kid, you see. So that's the passion I like daily, just to like shove it in those old people's faces, like, hey, look, the older generation can do it too, so yeah.
Dude, I
That's the
love
whole
it, man.
experience, yeah.
Dude, I love it, and it's also all about like perspective, right? Like even if you receive criticism or hate or whatever it is holding you back, it's all about perspective. Like, where do you want to distribute your energy? Just say you have 100% of energy. How much of energy are you going to give towards that hate or that discrimination or whatever it is? And how much of energy are you going to give towards yourself and proving yourself first that you can do it and proving
Yeah.
other people wrong? So like it's all about that perspective as well.
Exactly. That fighting perspective, just to achieve what you want to achieve, because if you set
Absolutely.
your to it, if you set your mind to that goal that you want to achieve to, your mind itself will like naturally find its way up the system for you to get there. So it's just to not to lose your motives and not to lose your passion towards it, you see. So that's why they say it's important to know your passion at an early age, because then you have enough and more time to be the change, you see.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Let's talk about be the change, man. What a fitting word that you ended in your sentence as well. Let's
I,
talk about the Be the Change Federation, man. Like what is that about? What is it? What's the backstory behind that?
I just thank God that I got it registered before everyone else did. Because kindness, like, you will get that phrase, be the change, out of like poof. So sorry. um so be the change. So it started when I was in college, when I was in APIT, when I was in the business management industry. To be honest, I was studying, and at the same time I was caught up with social service. So, and I knew that social service was a calling for me, because I had that passion that it drove me to that, to go meet certain people and to go make myself occupied for like levels and like tribes that, people don't usually speak with, like taboo, they say. So, actually, the main start for Be the Change Federation is because of my dad. Because my dad is also someone who does social services. Like, he helps out with the prison affairs, he helps out with the HIV community. So I also went with him and helping him, and like, getting through, like getting letters and, just volunteering to certain NGOs. So then that's how I thought to myself, hey, look, why don't I come up with my own NGO, and let's find like our own community, and let's get its own donations, and let's help these people with, these communities out there. So then I connected with the HIV community, the blind society, the LGBT community. I connected with like certain organizations, the autism community, and we just like then we my very first project that I did on my own was a blood drive, and I still remember the rush I had for it. Even my cousin Owen was actually part of it. So like he came in and we did this whole drive, collecting donations for the people, calling up like certain NGOs and like supermarkets around saying, hey, would you like to come and donate us, and all of that, you see. So I just really enjoyed that whole drive at such a young age for me to pursue that. So then in time, I thought to myself, hey, I guess this organization could work out, because I see myself in that path on helping people, on connecting and bridging the communities together, finding ways how the communities can be evened out and helped by the high authorities. So I just, that's the whole point on how I started Be the Change. So then soon I registered it under as Be the Change Federation, which gives it a bit more of a pinch of power to it,
And
you see.
yeah,
Pinch.
I love that, man. That's
Yeah,
that's so good, dude.
yeah,
But yeah, man, like you said, like those are some of those are so many things that I'm also very passionate about, and like you're literally doing it through a foundation or a federation, which is freaking impressive.
yeah,
And thanks, man. Thank you for like taking the step forward, because there's a big difference between thinking and actioning. You can think about an idea, but actually actioning it, putting the community together, all of that backlog work that nobody sees is a lot of
yeah,
freaking work. So like, thank you for putting that together, man. And like, I just want to ask Empire's Ovin's question real quick before we move on. What were some of
yeah.
the biggest obstacles you faced, and how did you overcome them? You can choose one obstacle, man, as an example.
obstacle. Well, okay. So the best obstacle that I would really always I actually pull up is the writing obstacle. So, like I said, my own family did not like writing, so they were like, "You can't make a living out of it," blah blah blah. But so those were all the obstacles. So the biggest obstacle was, which I overcame secretly, is that I took a tuk-tuk on my own and I drove and I went to downtown and I literally printed out from these communication centers 12 manuscripts, like copies of my book, okay? So my book was like close to around like nearly 100 pages, okay? So literally a double A pack went off. So I got it printed on my own, and then I literally took this tuk guy and I said, don't leave, wait there and let me go and see these people. And I went to, I don't know if I can name names, but I visited quite a handful of publication officers and I just submitted it. And I didn't even tell my family that I even went for that. So, it's just so the obstacle, that the whole thing that I can take out of is that you have to somehow push through it. I'm not saying you to go do bad stuff without your parents knowing. I'm not telling anything like that, but I'm just saying is that when you know that the objective that you're doing is for a good reason and there's no harm could come out of it, just go do it. So, and I'm really happy that Godege publication actually took up my manuscript and they printed and they distributed totally for free for me.
Amazing. Dude, that's so sick. Is it because of the fact that you went above and beyond? Well, is the reason why they did it like completely free?
Sorry?
Is it because you went above and beyond to like push your book out there is why they went and gave it to you like completely free?
Well, I had my gut feeling to Godege because the owner of Godege publication, he's this very sweet old man. So I did not leave the publication office without meeting him. So I was like, I will meet him. I want to meet him. And then somehow they called up the boss and the director, the owner of Godege publication, told, okay, Puta Yavanda, like, to send the son in. And I went and I spoke, and then I literally sold myself there. I was like, look, I'm so and so, I'm from this place, I'm from here. I came all this way downtown just for this, and it would mean a lot for me. And then he actually knew and he saw the passion that I had for it. And he immediately called up an editor saying to stop. He literally said that. He said to stop everything that you're doing and to review this book. And that day just like sort of changed my mind in such a positive aspect on writing. And I'm still in debt, and I still owe my life to him because he actually made me an author in this country now. So that's the whole thing. Yeah.
So for anyone who's viewing, all you have to do is go and stand outside and make sure that you speak to the boss. And no, man, but like on a serious note, like it just shows how much you believe in yourself, right? Like that self-belief, that self-perseverance is just, it speaks volumes, and that's amazing. And I can't wait to see like what other things you do in terms of like with Be the Change or within policy making. Like I can't wait to see like what are the changes you do. But yeah, man, it's been a fun chat, dude. It's been a fun long chat. But I just want to ask you, dude. There's just two questions I want to ask you. When it comes to a lot of social stigmas that are going on in Sri Lanka, whether it's like LGBTQIA plus rights, or whether it's bullying, or when it's hey hesh, or whether it's like domestic abuse or sexual harassment, there's so many people who feel alone. There's so many people who feel alone in Sri Lanka, especially. Let's talk in the Sri Lankan context, where they feel defeated because when they walk in the road, they're called certain things, or when they go to school, they're bullied, or at work even they're bullied. If you had a one-on-one with any of those people, what would you say to them? What would your advice be to get through this situation?
You mean to the victims?
Yep.
Well, my say is to speak it. Just let it out. Because when you're a victim, it's never useful to just bottling it for yourself. Because there is tons of support groups out there now, and I mean it's because it's done by younger generations, like people like you doing these kind movements is actually empowering, somewhat of an empowerment series, you see. So only thing that I have to say for the victims is to speak out, because you will not be judged, because we the next generation is somewhat of an open-minded citizens than the older, because but uh, yeah, I guess to voice out and just be the change within themselves, you see. So if they themselves start speaking out, then more people like them will also start speaking out. So that way we can actually build our own community of victims, where we are then sort of like in hand, then you know that you have your own safety, your own people around you, you see. So just voice it out.
Absolutely.
That's it. And that we are always there to support you no matter what.
Absolutely, man. And I think the more people voice it out, the more we normalize it, and the more people will be like, "Oh my God, she's talking about it. That's something I went through." And that whole
Yeah.
relatability thing will also pop out, and then more people will start speaking, and more people will start realizing. Because the thing is, what I've realized is if people are hooted at or something like that, some women like I walk with or they message me be like, it's just a normal thing. No, it's
Yeah.
not. It is not a normal thing, and it will never be a normal thing. And you should always stand up and fight against it because
Yeah.
there's so many people who are doing it already. So you just have to join your voices with them. So yeah, man, I completely agree. Speak out as much as you possibly can. Even if you don't, you don't have to have a social media presence, right? Even if it's your
Yeah.
close friends or school, close family, speak out. Tell your experiences, and you never know what could happen after that. You never know
No.
what could happen when you're around a support system, like you said at the beginning, right? A support system is so important to help you get through these things.
For sure. Yeah, and also I guess the accountability gives you an assurance that like, oh look, you also went through it, and then they can get into a deeper conversations together, and they could overcome it together, you see. So I
Yeah.
guess that's where change makers actually need to address, so be the change, you see why the catchphrase is very important. Ha ha, thank God I registered
I
it.
see it, brother.
Yeah.
Oh man, dude, it's been an honor, dude. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day, dude. I'm pretty sure you would have been busy with other things as well. But I just want to ask you a question that I ask every single guest that comes on here, man.
Okay.
What does kindness mean to you in your life?
Kindness mean to me is basically just availability, um, availability towards your community and towards your uh, basically just to a bunch of people that you are accountable for, or even not, because there's a lot of people out there, and being in my field where public sector is always around me, accountability is something. Accountability itself is somewhat of kindness to me, you see. So you used the word, what kindness mean to you. For me it means accountability, because that's where a lot of people lack in accountability, like knowing to sort of like when something's up, being able to like take a phone call and say, hey, I have this in my mind, what's your idea? So that sort of accountable partners is something which is really important. So what kindness, what accountable mean is just being present with a set of people that you really care for.
Amazing, beautiful. I feel, dude, every single guest has a different way of putting it, man, and I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
Kindness is accountability. Kindness is being present in the moment, dude. Thank you so much, buddy. Thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you for spreading your stories. I can't wait to meet you in person and keep this conversation going, man. And like, I just want to let you know, like, if there's anything that I can do to help with Be the Change or to help with anything that comes with like helping communities, please
yeah,
let me know, man. More than happy to help. You know that you've seen my stories. I don't hold back when it comes to helping people.
definitely.
So just let me know, man. And before I let you go, dude, like like where can people find you in terms of social media? Any future projects? Oh, he got stuck for a second. I'm gonna wait just in case. Technology is the winner. Did we lose him? I feel like we lost him. Oh,
Okay.
there you go. You're back.
Yeah. Sorry.
Hello.
Hi
That's
again.
okay. Did you get a call?
No, actually, this network
Oh,
is really bad these days. So, yeah.
it is quite bad.
So you were
But
saying,
yeah, man, just let us know in terms of social media or like any future projects that you're working on, and also any final thoughts.
final thoughts. Pursue, pursue, pursue. Just be yourself, love who you are, and just be the change. Because right now the world and this country lacks change makers. So, and be accountable for the people that you love. That's how people as a community can grow. And I guess that's about it. Just be accountable and pursue your dreams.
Amazing. And where can they find you in terms of social media, man?
So I'm literally on every social media. So Instagram is mainly my platform, and Twitter, where I'll be usually blasting out in political contexts, and Facebook, which I'm really not that active on, but it's somewhere where I'll just post my tweets and like post like that. But yeah, so you can catch me anywhere, email me, call me, blah. So, but I prefer text over call.
Amazing, buddy. Thank you so much for joining, Lakshan.
No
Have
problem.
a beautiful rest of your day, and we'll talk soon, man. Thank you so
Definitely.
much.
Stay blessed.
See you, buddy.
Bye.
So, guys, that was Lakshan. I had a pleasure speaking to him. I cannot wait to see what difference he makes within Sri Lanka as well, and I can't wait to help him in any possible way I can, especially when it comes to community building and stuff like that. Show him some love. Check out Be the Change as well. I'll link everything at the end of the day. And Empire, Oceany, thank you for being awesome chat superstars.